I was just being stupid. I like high speeds, and I was driving down the road at 160 kilometers per hour, listening to loud music, talking on my cell, and smoking. I still smoked at that time. The wheel caught on the roadside. The car skidded at breakneck speed and fell into a ditch, flipping and knocking down pine trees. The door flew open, and I was thrown out of the car with the seat.
The ambulance told me to go to hospital straight away because my wife had been in a car accident. I was sure she must be dead because they just turned around and left.
I was flying down a bright, utterly joyous hallway. Suddenly I heard a voice. "The children need you, the children need you." And I went back as if through a tunnel. And then I opened my eyes to the pain and the horror and started shouting and fainted.
She was like a broken doll. When I saw her, she was a piece of meat. Everything, her face, her arms, her legs, were in a terrible state. There wasn't a single whole piece left.
So you see, a happy, successful, carefree lady can easily turn into a wreck, a cripple, an invalid. At first, only my right arm worked. Then the left one started to move too. And if you have control over your hands, there's plenty of things you can occupy yourself with. My mother brought me my first piece of plasticine to the hospital. Making dolls was my childhood dream, as I had no dolls growing up. I thought if I lived and had a chance to start my life from scratch, it meant I had to do charity work. I would start making dolls to help children.
The doctors couldn't guarantee she'd ever be able to walk again. They didn't say anything definite until the moment they decided to operate on her and put her spine in a frame. I talked to the doctors who wanted to do all this to her and saw that they themselves weren't really sure if she'd ever be able to walk after that, even.
All my body was broken. I had cerebral contusions and a double spinal fracture. My shoulder blade was torn apart, collarbones fractures, knees twisted. I had no face. My lips were torn away, so the doctors had to sew them back. The nose was turned into a mass of crushed cartilage. It was put back together, piece by piece.
I'm not good at supporting people. I was tough on her, and to this day she's still a bit offended by what I said to her back then. I said I wasn't going to look after her. If she didn't get better, I promised I'd simply toss her out on the garbage heap. At that moment, it seemed to me these words were giving her strength. But they were the right words to say, because she obviously didn't need my tears. There were plenty of tears without me.
At first, he just sat at my side, holding my hand and praying to God that I would not die. That much I remember well. I was freezing, even though I was in a warm hospital ward with a heater. But I was cold inside, as if I were in a grave. I don't want to recall it. Psychotherapy helped me leave it all behind.
Everything was covered in mud, porcelain and dust, because she was always sawing or firing something in this kiln. There might still be some doll limbs somewhere. It was her rehabilitation period after the accident. She was searching for herself, and I think she succeeded. The situation was still uncertain. There was a 50% probability that she'd stay in a wheelchair, or they could do some surgery with some very slight chances of success, after which she may or may not have started walking. I remember her doing her exercises on her spine. She found the inner strength. She's a good girl. Although I have to confess, I doubted her a little, but she started walking, even without all those complex operations.
I used to spend money on some expensive things, bags and so on. All I was interested in was going to Italy to see a new collection. I dreamt of jewelry. My life was empty, meaningless. What did I live for? Yes, I had children, but I didn't raise them.
She never spent much time with us when we were small. We were always either in their country house or staying with our grandparents. I believe it was God who helped her leave the wrong path. She started spending much more time with us and the rest of the family. Then she turned to charity. Now she even has time to spend with other children.
Sometimes people buy my dolls because they learn that there's a child who desperately needs help. They can simply give us money, saying, "Keep the doll, sell it again." It's already happened several times. This one was bought and left in the shop so that I could sell it again and save some other child.
The doctor told us that the diagnosis was very serious. It turned out Vlad had brittle bone disease. His arm and thigh were fractured, and his thigh was twisted in the wrong direction. And in a few days, his other arm broke. As a result, right after he was born, the baby was all in casts. The doctor said, "No one can help you because no one knows how to cure this disease. You're taking the baby, but no one knows what to do with it." They suggested that we give him up. Take the dumbbell and lift it straight up. Okay, hand behind your head, down. This is the leg that was recently broken. Because of that, we had to avoid using it. Come on, raise your leg.
I was walking on my knees and I stumbled and fell on my hands, and now I have a crack.
They said to us, "Why did you take him? He has hydrocephalus. He's defective. He's retarded." But as you can see for yourselves, we didn't pay any attention to them. He's our child and we'll raise him no matter what.
Police is a panda with a pen. Look at the total. Look at the umbrella. It does PPP. Не знаю.
I am studying now to become clever.
Стать изобретателем.
I would like to invent new machines.
The doctors told us the baby needs orthopedic braces, which he'll need to learn to walk. But his legs are getting bigger, and the orthoses get too small, so we have to order new ones. For instance, he's outgrown his current braces. They cost $5,000 last time, and we need new ones approximately every 8 months. We can't really afford it. It's too much money, so we started looking for funding.
Vlad.
He's having fun.
His guardian angel must be very strong. He's alive, and for the second year now, we're helping him to avoid fractures, pain, and tears. His parents bring him to all of our exhibitions, and all the doll makers cry with joy when they see him.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? How do you feel?
Good.
Cool, can I kiss you on the nose? You're not afraid?
No.
Mushrooms. Oh, the man's carrying mushrooms.
Wow. I have a little house here.
Look, it's a Boy Scout.
Look, the door's closed.
Oh, it's a doctor, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
They look like people. Real people. An athlete?
An athlete, right?
Napoleon.
Napoleon.
I also wanted to show you this. We have more little houses over there. And I have a present for you. We raised some money at the last festival. And I've also prepared 2 sets for Vlad to assemble. It's a cafe and a post office. Do you like it? Will you take it?
Yes.
Thank you.
I need to put it in my wheelchair.
What do you have to say?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm not doing it for the thanks.
Thank you so much. Let's put it in the wheelchair. Dad is very heavy.
I'm staying with the baby, and my wife's the only breadwinner. Well, we simply didn't have enough money.
Interesting.
Is there anyone home? Be careful. What if you open the door and there's someone in the bathroom? You'll scare him. Svetlana has raised money for us. For the third time now.
She helps us to get leg braces. Dad, I want to walk.
My husband and I always wanted to have a lot of children, but even before the accident, I couldn't conceive. But 5 years after my potentially fatal injuries in a car crash, I gave birth to my little Michelle, to our dear Michelle. Hello, princess. Hello, my little one. You wrote me a letter.
My dear mommy, I really, really love you.
My dear mommy, I really, really love you. I love you too, darling.
You can't catch me!
No one can catch you.
You can't catch me! Mommy!
Michelle, wait! She was born 3 months prematurely. She was tiny and only weighed 900 grams. She had a heart disorder, and with every heartbeat, a drop of blood was getting into her lungs. So she came down with pneumonia, and we had to spend 3 months in intensive care.
All her attempts to get pregnant were futile. So all the doctors were genuinely surprised when she gave birth. I think it was God's will, because the baby was born against all the odds.
She's alive and fighting to survive. And the doctor's telling me, don't be upset. You're still young. You'll have other children. When we're at home together, she wants to have all my attention. But I guess it's because back at the hospital... Come on, Michelle, behave, will you? So, back in the hospital, I pleaded with her. Fight, baby. Fight, please, live. And I'll never punish you. I'll never tell you off. You'll be the most spoiled child, my little princess. I think she's my reward for helping all those children with the money we raised from selling dolls.
Mommy, Mommy, can I help you to hang them?
Of course. Here you go. We're saving money. We can say we're selling the dolls to buy life for the children.
I'd like this doll to be sold so that I can use the money to buy a pacemaker and enable the child to have an operation. And then we'll know that this doll has not only brought luck to its owner, but really saved a human life.
Well, how many dolls can I sell? 1 or 2? But with the help of these new activists, especially successful and prominent people, this project could go on and on.
I liked Svetlana's approach. With her, we can be absolutely sure that every single dollar spent on charity will be transferred to the account of a person who needs help. We've organized so many events, and on the same day, while everyone is still here, we can see the money going directly to the people who need it.
We're raising funds for 10-year-old Svetlana Kuklina from the town of Nizhny Novgorod. Come and have a look, please. Svetlana and I are waiting for your contributions.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Okay, agreed. We'll take it. It's the most expensive.
It seems so.
Got it.
This is our chief sponsor.
I haven't seen you for so long. Hello.
For ages, yes. What have you grown that for? It was a huge collection.
My collection is bigger than my wife's. It wasn't just me who bought the first dolls she ever made. When she was still new at it, all of my friends and all her friends secretly helped her. We even went so far as to sneak fake buyers into the auctions to bid for Svetlana's dolls.
Kirill, I love you.
Me too.
10 days ago, I received a letter. There's a girl who has no vocal cords. She plays the flute and writes poetry, but she just can't speak because she has no vocal cords.
There are only 12 such kids in the world. Her facial muscles don't work at all. She can barely talk. And when I first saw her crying, it was a shock. Big tears were running down her face without her making a sound.
Are you done here yet?
Absolutely.
Ready to go?
They need to send her medical records. We already have the passport.
Oh, they do it quickly.
They'll sort it out with the hospital quickly. We'll help.
Yes, we will.
Thank you.
Kirill Pichalnikov's promotion company presents mixed fight and kickboxing matches.
I turned 44 and it was long overdue. I should have gone to an oncologist long before. 40 is a critical age for a man, so everyone, my mother, my friends, were all telling me to go and get checked. I was going to go fishing and there was a clinic near my house, so I figured I'd pop in on the way, and I did. And my old life ended.
The next day, the doctor confirmed the diagnosis. He had stage 4 cancer with metastasis in his liver. One of the doctors told us not to plan anything for more than 3 months. He said it would be pretty quick and painless because there are no nerve centers in the liver.
I could tell by their silence and reproaching glances that it was pretty bad. And I didn't have much of a chance.
With Mom, it's pretty obvious. She had it coming. She was the one driving the car, so she's the one to blame. But with Dad, it was like God punishing him. We all did our best to support him, and he himself is a very strong man, both physically and spiritually.
Good luck.
I want to be like my father.
For me, Tallinn is a magic town where dreams come true, life goes on, and everything can change. Albertus Magnus, or Albert the Great, stayed in this house in the 13th century. He's a legend of alchemy. He created the elixir of life, the philosopher's stone. For the past 3 years, this building has hosted the Estonian doll art house. I brought my dolls and my friends' dolls here. I'll spend a lot of time here. I'll organize doll exhibitions, and I'd like to send all the money to a children's hospital. Look, to make a square bit, put a piece of cotton inside and stretch the 4 edges. Then wrap a string around it, and you have legs. Now we make arms. And now you have your very own little doll filled with your love and energy. For the 13 years I've been making dolls, no one has ever told me their doll hasn't granted their wish.
Can I wish for my father to start loving dogs?
Of course you can. During all the 800 years of the history of this house, there's been a legend about wishes made at the staircase coming true.
I wished for my mom, dad, and brother to be healthy.
I wished for my parents to be happy and have a lot of money.
When I sneaked to the staircase through the back door 3 years ago, I only had one wish. I wanted my husband to recover.
Kirill is a fighter, and that's what I really like about him. I generally like people who don't give up, no matter how hard things get, people who soldier on. The surgeons who operated on him were unable to find one of the metastases that they knew was already there at the time. So we had to do it the hard way, and we removed a large part of his liver. And this guaranteed us a positive result.
He doesn't lose heart. He doesn't give up. He never lies down saying, "Okay, I'm ill. I'm not going to fight. It hurts. It's hard." I can see the whole body shaking, convulsing, but he's always smiling and telling jokes. He's a strong man.
The hardest part was seeing my family's eyes. My wife and my children were still looking at me, teasing me, laughing, telling jokes and having fun. At first glance, nothing has changed. But I know they're on tenterhooks. They're laughing at me and having fun by day, but at night, they're weeping. We only have one life, and when you come to a certain point, you try to spend all the time that's left with your family. I really need to know. I need to be aware of how much time I have left because it's a tricky disease, and I need to know when it will... You told me then, Kirill, you said, don't plan ahead for more than 3 years. And that was good advice you gave me.
Just honesty.
I promised you that
Great job.
I'd fight this monster. So thank you.
We carefully examined where he had the surgery and all the other organs in his abdominal cavity. To our delight, and probably much more to his delight, we saw that the treatment had produced positive results. There are no signs of the disease spreading further. Everything's in God's hands.
Svetlana and I have a very close friend. He once said something very kind to me. I asked how he was doing, and he said, "Looking at your family, I'm doing better and better." Maybe God sends us these trials, and if they don't kill us, it means He wants to teach us. It means we need to do something else, something good.
My favorite story is the one about the 2 mice who fell in a jug of milk. One of them gave up and drowned, but the second one started splashing, and it struggled so hard it churned it into butter. It pushed off the butter and jumped out.